Awesome. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming to the weekly dev call. We have these every week, same time, Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time for those in Asia. We really appreciate you staying up late. You guys are always showing up, and shout out to Christy and Junie and the Spacebar team. And so, yeah, we really appreciate that. We found that this time seems to work for most because it works for. We're based in Vancouver, so Pacific time and Eastern time, and yes, it's late night for Asia, and then for Europe, it's like near the end of the day. So, yeah, really appreciate everyone showing up here every single week at this time. Yeah, so this week I think we have a pretty loose agenda. I mean, Jaden is not able to make it today. He actually took some time off to fully focus on the new implementation. So just I think we maybe the team has mentioned last week. I was also away too, but there's a new implementation that Jaden is finishing up for for that we're ready to kind of push through auditing. So we're starting, I believe we're starting the audit process for this new implementation tomorrow or on Monday. It's going to be with Zelic, which is an audit firm that's actually based here in Vancouver as well. So I think that process is going to be a week or a week and a half, so around. And once the audit's ready, we're finished. We're happy to share that results and also update all the SDK and all that tooling. I think, as mentioned by Jaden prior, the current implementation has always been like a work in progress. It is live on mainnet and it is working, and we'll always be upkeeping it. It will always be. I don't know if you've seen, but some of the work from the team here, you can actually see multiple accounts and implementations. Raymond, if you have a link to your Tokenbound, your Sapiens, that kind of shows that would be really cool. We could also you could share it in the chat. But we expect a future where there will be multiple. Actually, it gets pretty insane, but multi-chain, multi-implementation, multi-account, and it balloons exponentially because there's obviously a lot of chains, and then there might be a lot of implementations, and then you might create a bunch of accounts. So I will say it's a real design and UI challenge, right? You could kind of imagine as an analogy, like imagine a banking app like Web2, right? A banking app that has all of your banks from and if let's say you have bank accounts in Dubai and in the US and in Europe, like imagine a single app that shows all your bank accounts with all the banks and all the every single thing. It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of information. So Alana from our team has been going down this rabbit hole of like, okay, we need to we need to display this information, but we need to make it easy and digestible and interactable. Otherwise, it'll get out of hand. So that's kind of where Jaden is entirely focused on right now. And the team, I think, probably have updates as well. So, but we'll kind of push that to a little bit later. So, as usual for these calls, we'd like to start off with intros, especially for new members that have not joined us prior. So if you're new to this call, I believe Calvin is, definitely raise your hands in this chat, and then we'll welcome you kind of to do like uh, a quick little intro about yourself and yeah. So okay, Calvin, you want to kick it off?
Sure. Putting me on the spot. Hey guys, nice to see a lot of new faces as well. I guess also, I guess Christie and Spacebar is one of our portfolio projects at Impossible. I think very excited about all things composable side of things, and I think Benny, you're definitely the big brains here on thinking of a lot of this for a long time. So really excited to hear more from all of you guys as well, and meeting some new friends. And I would say probably a fun fact, not so fun fact about me, is that I got liquidated playing with NFT lending in 2019 on NFT5 for some of my CryptoPunks. So definitely a painful experience, but I always love just kind of getting messy and playing around with all the different things out there. And I think that there's a lot of cool stuff that can be thought with 6551. So yeah, really happy to be here and happy to hear more from all of you guys.
Awesome. Welcome, Calvin. Waleed, would you like to do a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. GM everyone, I'm Waleed, a Solidity developer. I started dabbling with NFTs and cross-chain interactions since just a little bit over 2 months ago. And I got in contact with some of the members of DAO House and Silo. Slowly got introduced to ERC 6551, which had similar goals to what I was trying to build with the hackathon. And now I'm seeing that this has evolved like so far beyond what I initially knew. Now there's whole accounts at scale that are functioning within NFTs, which is dope, to be honest, and exciting to see what else could be built on top of them. And yeah, glad to be here and hopeful for the future.
Awesome. Welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Fancy, would you like to do an intro?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm Fancy. I'm the founder of Radar. We're a community that researches how technological and cultural shifts are occurring and what the knock-on effects will be for everyday consumers, and how, will these technologies change the way we play together, explore together, build together. And ERC 6551s have been so interesting, and we've been collaborating with Paul and Benny on a brief and some research into what will be the knock-on effects of this technology, specifically around gaming and AI, and what will it mean to almost create a new digital species that can be enabled by this kind of money gods and intelligence gods combined in this format, which you've never seen before. So super excited to learn, be here, and share more wherever I can.
Yeah, we've been teaming up with Fancy and Paul on OP Games to put together this brief around NPCs. I think if you guys have been around for a while, like this angle of NPCs are really interesting to us. And the way I think about it is there's a lot of NFTs, and there will be more NFTs in the future. A lot of them, they don't really do anything. They kind of sit in your cold storage, and they just, like, I don't know, wait for the floors to go up or something, right? And the whole perspective of NPC is like, okay, well, there's only two options, right? Well, three. One, you don't do anything, you let it sit, and maybe in 10 years your ledger has some dust, and you're like, you become pleasantly surprised. Number two is, maybe there are like some games or things you can do with these NFTs, and you'll have to spend your time throughout your day to kind of like connect to all these games and connect your ledger and like sign transactions, and it's going to take time out of your day to or either it's out of your work time, or through, like, you're gonna watch Netflix or you're gonna play these blockchain games, right? So that's like the second option. The third idea is, well, what if you could program them to do things for you on chain? Because they already have, because of Tokenbound accounts, they have an Ethereum identity. you can now effectively log in as your NFT. If you haven't tried, definitely you should try it on Tokenbound. And now they have a idea of like of an account so they can own other assets. Well, what's really missing, and I've tweeted about this quite a lot even yesterday, like what's really missing is kind of like the brain, right? The brain is the LLM model or the AI model that has the logic. Once we apply that to an NFT, well, it could start to perform things for you on chain, right? Whether that's like DeFi related things, or imagine you talk to your doodles and it's like, hey doodle, I want you to complete these rabbit hole quests, and it automatically goes and does it, right? So I think the reality, whether you want to call it smart NFTs or NPCs or whatever term you want to call it, I think that is going to be a big part of the future that we're part of. Exactly. Cool. Any other intros? Any other folks that are new here that would like to do a quick intro? Nope. Okay, perfect. So I think a few things here before I pass it on to the team for SDK and other updates. I wanted to share with you guys some really cool things that have been shared in the community. So yeah, I think you guys are aware of Galverse. Galverse is a really, really cool NFT project. Their whole mission is to create a anime together. And so recently, Galverse had implemented Tokenbound accounts. So it's really interesting when we say implement, there's actually not much action you really need to do, right? Because every NFT already has Tokenbound account. And so what they really did was they did an airdrop of like behind the scenes footage of like the anime that they're making into the Tokenbound accounts of some of the gals. And we're currently in discussion. You can see this video; it's a really cool one. They're currently in discussions of like they're experimenting with the iframe. If you haven't already, definitely check it out. So if you go to tokenbound.org, oops, right here, there's a iframe starter kit where it's completely open source, and it was built by the team members here. Raymond is in this call. He can always help you if you have any issues. But this is an iframe that you can embed into OpenSea. Effectively, it's the animation URL, and we kept it in a way where it's subtle enough that you could still appreciate the art of the NFT, but then you could also kind of like see all the assets. So yeah, they're definitely looking into that. That's a super interesting use case. The other one that I think it's been a few weeks now is this project from Weebox. Weebox is part of a company called Collection, or it's spelled KLKTN. And they kind of started off with like J-pop, K-pop NFTs, but they have now kind of expanded in the area of anime IP. They're working closely with Animoca Japan in the anime IP side. And so the whole idea, which I think is super awesome, and is the be able to buy a anime figurine, like a physical one, and it has an NFC chip, similar to some of the experiences you've seen with IYK or with the Halo chips from Azuki or from ARX. But yeah, you have these figurines that you could tap your phone on and collect an NFT, and then there will be like a gamification, and it will be using Tokenbound accounts. So the physical to digital like gamification is slowly expanding. The other one that is super cool too, I don't know if it's been highlighted as well, is Daniel Allen. He's a musician, and he's released multiple, I think probably one of the most successful on sound.xyz. And so Daniel Allen has been working with Coop Records or Koopa Troopa. They released these fan key passes. And inside of the fan key passes, they actually have music NFTs. And so they have not embedded, I don't believe they've used the iframe yet, but if they did, you could actually see all the music files here. But you could kind of see them here that they have the music NFTs inside of this fan pass. And so that's a really interesting way of especially for folks here like Deacon and thinking about DAOs. Like imagine a DAO NFT membership that is receiving POAPs and soulbound tokens and rewards and points and all of that. And it could even be ERC20s too, right? So that's super cool. Last but not least, this one's, I wanted to highlight because I think, again, physical digital is like the really big push that we're seeing lately. So this is a physical jacket that is from Mintage. Mintage is a company that was started by Sean Witherspoon, who's been in the streetwear business for a very, very long time. And not only that, it's also with Nick Adler, who was Snoop Dogg's manager. So Mintage is the combination of the two of them. And so they have this jacket that's a physical jean jacket with all these awesome patches. These patches have NFC chips that link to an NFT. And the really cool thing, as you see in this video, is that they have this new module called the autograph module. So that means that you wear this jacket, and if you want it to get signed by like Sean Witherspoon or by a friend, I don't know why, but maybe you want your friend, they can tap their phone and use their finger and autograph the patch. And then that autograph is actually minted as an NFT inside of the patch. And so it's a really interesting idea of implementing Tokenbound. Like from this perspective, it's seamless. You don't really see Tokenbound account. It's just like, oh, it's a cool jean jacket that has an NFT. But this is like another creative way of like nesting things inside. So you can kind of see here, they have a digital version of the jacket, and they have their own iframe, which is kind of like similar to ours. But you can see inside there's the embedded the patches and all of that, which are also NFTs. So it's effectively an NFT in an NFT in an NFT, if you were to look at it. So those are some really cool new use cases that we have seen popping up recently. Cool. Yeah. So if there's any questions, and we encourage the community, if there's more things that pop up, definitely share it in the working group or tweet about it. We'd love to hear it. And I know a lot of you guys are building cool, amazing projects too. So happy to, be beta testers and all of that. I'm going to pass it to the team. So BJ, Ray, Angela, Druzy, do you guys want to provide any updates on the SDK, anything that the community should know?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. So this morning I pushed a new release of the SDK that adds one new method. It's transfer NFT. So you can transfer a 721 or an 1155 to another account. Maybe I'll just share my screen quickly. I don't know if I want to go through an entire demo necessarily. I prefer to leave time for others if possible. But I can just show you quickly what the method looks like. Can everyone see? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so transfer NFT allows you to transfer NFTs to a recipient from a Tokenbound account. And essentially, what you need to pass in here with transfer NFT is Tokenbound account address, the token type, the token contract, token ID, and the recipient address. And it works pretty well. So let me just jump in here. So I have, if you see here, this is a testnet OpenSea account with a bunch of testnet NFTs. And I have a really basic example app here where I've added a new button to transfer the NFT. If I hit confirm, it'll give me the confirmation. And very quickly, hopefully, if we jump over to OpenSea, the NFT that was in the Tokenbound account here, should arrive. Yeah, there we go. So this is available in the SDK as of this morning. I've updated the documentation as you've seen, and it's really easy to use. I'll be following up with some tests shortly, just to make sure everything is locked down, but I've really run it through the paces extensively with different kinds of NFTs over the last few days, and yeah, it's good to go.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that update, BJ.
And yeah, big thanks to Druzy also for assembling this on tokenbound.org. We've been collaborating pretty closely on transfers of late.
Yeah, absolutely. And on a similar note of transfers, we're looking at a feature going live on Tokenbound today, hopefully, which is just going to allow transfer of other assets like ETH and ERC20 tokens that are being held in a Tokenbound account, and just give you a nice, easy little interface to transfer them between or to any address from a Tokenbound account. So you'll be able to go live on tokenbound.org and I can share really quickly. It's very simple though. And you'll be able to select tokens that are inside of a Tokenbound account here in the assets section, search, find whatever you want, and transfer to anywhere right on tokenbound.org, right on the TVA. So that'll be a nice little quality of life feature to manage assets if people are playing around with storing things and moving them around. And that is just one of a few little quality of life changes that are coming to tokenbound.org. We're about to see a facelift on a variety of sections on tokenbound.org, just improving the UI, UX, and getting it a little closer to the experience that you might have just on any normal wallet, but interacting with those TVAs across the site. And as those things come out, I'll make sure that I update in the Telegram group and give you all a little walkthrough, and we'll there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline soon.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've been working on the new Tokenbound website. Jersey he's a magician with with the code that he touches, along with the team. I think if you haven't met, the team, definitely say hi in the Telegram. Angela, BJ, Jersey, Raymond, Alana, and of course Jaden and myself. So we're here to support you all. If you guys have any question, it could be as simple as what is a Tokenbound account, all the way to like what's this like specific implementation. Happy to address those. So yeah, I think that, is there any other updates, Raymond, Angela, that we want to cover on our end?
Nothing on my end, no.
Cool. Awesome. And a few things of resources for everybody here. One is, you probably have already seen this before, but I'll share it again. Hopefully that link works. But yeah, all of the previous weekly dev calls are going to be uploaded there. I actually have to upload last week, so I didn't do that yet. But this is number 19. Number 19 call. That means we've been running this weekly dev call for nearly almost 5 months, close to 5 months now, nearly half a year of like seeing you all every single week show up. Yeah, so we're really like, this is really amazing that even 27 people show up. We thought that we'd be just talking to ourselves all the time. So awesome. So those are the updates from the team. I think now we reached the halfway mark. What we typically do is we pass the baton to the community if they'd like to do a demo or even if it's not even a working demo, if they have some ideas or technical questions, now's the time to ask those, and we'll try our very, very best to answer it. If we can't, we'll definitely like circle back and give you those answers. So feel free to raise your hands if you'd like to do a demo or you'd like to ask a question, and keep those hands up, and then we'll circle back to you. So Waleed, I think you were first. So do you want to go ahead?
I think Deacon was before me, just to be fair.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Deacon, you want to go?
Yeah, how's it going? I had a question about batch operations. Has there been any thinking, or in the new implementations, has there been extra support? Basically, what I'm talking about is, like, say you have 3 NFTs owned by one account and you want to run a claim function in each of those TBAs. What are some of the strategies there? Just wondering what you guys have been thinking on.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think this is a great question for Jaden. I don't think internally we've thought a lot about this yet. I don't think a lot of people have requested something like this. So from your like, I think if we talk about the use case, so you're imagining multiple TBAs claiming, like batch claiming a bunch of NFTs or tokens. Is that correct?
Yeah, so say there's an NFT collection, and then there's an airdrop to all the TBAs inside that collection. And so there's a claim function to get the airdrop, and instead of going to each TBA and doing the claim function, could we batch that operation through like a multi-call or delegate call, some kind of shim contract or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I wrote it down so I could circle back with Jaden to see, what his thoughts are. I don't know if BJ Jersey, if you have any thoughts around batch.
Yeah, I just did a quick cursory search in the Telegram because I'd heard mention of multi-call a couple of times, and it looks like this is something that Jaden is looking to build into the new implementation.
Okay.
So I don't know any of the details, but I'm quite certain that that is on Jaden's radar.
All right. Yeah, I think, it's kind of one of those things where if you're using a TBA, you could make a multi-call easier than using an EOA, but there's other solutions around that. I think there just has to be support built in. So if he's working on that, that'd be cool. I'd love to get any more information if there is some.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Deacon. We'll keep you updated. I'll ping him later today, and then once he comes online, he'll give everyone an answer in the Telegram. Cool. I think is there anything else? Deacon, by the way, did you do a demo of Silo or RDF last week? Sorry, I was gone last week, but if you did, that's great.
Yeah, we did. Jekyll did a demo of it, and I just managed the screen share. But it should be on the recording. You can check it out. Yeah, some interesting RDF ideas.
Yeah, I think for those who are new here, RDF stands for retroactive DAO formation. It's an idea that us and Deacon and the team, DAO House team, has been stewing for a little while. And I think on the high level, it's just like issuing out ERC20 governance tokens to entire NFT collections. The way I like to think about it, it's like basically almost like reviving dead collections. and giving the power back to the community by issuing out the governance tokens inside of the TBAs of entire NFT collections. Not only that, you can form like a multi-sig that has the signers as the NFTs, because all the NFTs has addresses, right? TBA addresses. So that's kind of the idea, the concept around RDF, which we believe it has a lot of potential. Yeah, so I'm gonna upload that last week's recording, which you guys did a demo on. If you guys missed it or didn't show up last week, definitely check that out. Yeah. Yeah.
And so
go ahead.
that question actually kind of directly relates to that, because there could be situations where you own multiple NFTs in a collection and you want to get your full power in the DAO, or you may want to delegate all those NFTs to another address or vote in a specific way up with all your NFTs. So that's kind of what I was thinking there.
Oh yeah, okay, now that makes sense. Like claim all the tokens for all your NFTs if they're part of that same collection. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. I'm gonna pass it on to. Apologies, I didn't see what was the order, but let me see here. If I'm gonna go with Cordy. Do you want to ask your question or demo or?
Yes. What's going on, guys? Do you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Yes. So me and my team we created a name service, which is a handle for social media and gaming. So it's a different way to implement blockchain domains, but without thinking about sites or anything like that, but just using it for gaming and social media. So we have our own domains we created. It's not launch yet. It's gonna be launched in the next few weeks, but it's already been tested on. It's already on testnet. It works, but thing about now is that we have it as ERC 721, and we want to figure out how do we import it to into a TBA. And the network we're using is Rootstock, which is EVM compatible. So it's the same thing as it works with Solidity, and it's basically the same code that we could use on Ethereum but on Rootstock, backed by Bitcoin proof of work. And we just thought that we believe that with what's going on with Bitcoin this year in Bitcoin, it's just great to have an EVM around Bitcoin that has an identity around that ecosystem, which could be very beneficial, and we could be one of the first domain-like systems to release as a token-bound account.
That's super awesome, and thanks again for sharing that, Cordy. Is there a specific question or more of like a highlight of the product, which is perfectly fine as well. And also I encourage you, if you have a link or if there's anything live, like feel free to share it to the community here and people can play with it as well. But if it's early, it's okay as well. Yeah.
Yes, the main question is how can we import the token bound account from our current stage, which is it's ERC 721. It works and that stage right now, but we want to know how can we move that into ERC 6551, and what would be the difficulties at the moment for it?
Yeah, I believe the answer to this is the deployment of the registry. I don't know if anyone has done that yet for Rootstock, so that will probably have to happen first, and then that way, any NFTs or 721s that are on that specific chain will have Tokenbound account addresses. If that helps answer your question. I think there's some documentation, BJ, around deployment of the. Is that correct in the SDK or in the docs?
Sorry, I was digging through the Telegram for a reference. Deployment of what specifically?
Of the registry on a different chain.
I'm not familiar with deployments on that level. But I was going to chime in. What I was looking for in the Telegram is the name Digital Oil. Digital Oil is someone who's been working on something quite similar recently, and has been asking a few questions on these calls. It doesn't seem like he's here today, but he's reached out to me and a number of people on the group about these kind of ENS style namings associated with Tokenbound accounts. So it might be good for you to connect with him, Cordy, at some point. I'll see if I can find his contact details.
For sure, that'd be great. And what is his Telegram name? So I can send a message.
Yeah, we can post a link in here. I can also post his Twitter contact information in the chat here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome.
But long story short, I mean, if it's a 721 and you already have that side of things implemented, it is just a matter of taking that reference implementation of the contract, getting it deployed on your network, and then all of the things associated with Tokenbound accounts are out of the box, ready to go and ready for you to use. And then at that point, it's a matter of just kind of figuring out exactly how you're going to take advantage of those things and utilizing the SDK to do all those things. Like all of the account addresses will all be ready to go, and everything will have an address and be ready to receive NFTs and assets inside of every one of your 721 NFTs. So it's just a matter of using the SDK to grab the addresses and kind of smooth along that process for your users on your front end.
Yes, and that'd be interesting because on our end, it's on ERC 721 on testnet, but we want to launch it on mainnet as a Tokenbound just from the start.
Gotcha. And which testnet are the NFTs on?
It's in a Rootstock EVM testnet. And Rootstock is a EVM. Basically, the founder is the guy who tested the Ethereum. He was one of the guys who tested Ethereum around 2015. Sergio Leonard, and then he created his own a year later, seeing what Ethereum did and what needs to be improved. So it works the same way as Ethereum, but backed by proof of work in that sense. So everything works on our end for Ethereum on Rootstock.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I don't believe, as Benny said, that there is a registry deployed there yet. But if I'm going to just throw a link to the deployed addresses, and there's a link also there in the docs to the current version of the registry. We do have another implementation coming out soon with some added features on top, but this is currently working, and I would encourage you to get this deployed on the network. And if you need any help with that, just reach out to us in Telegram, and we can keep pointing you in the right direction. But once that's deployed, you have access to all of the methods in the SDK, and you can start playing around and seeing what fits your use case. And we can kind of discuss further in the Telegram and help out if you need.
Yes, thank you so much. Because I'm a strong believer in how identities are very important, and how if you have an identity and you can own the identity and have several avatars or NFTs attached to the identity, it'll make a lot of sense in that way.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Thanks again, Cordy, for that. I think there's a bunch of links in the chat there. Waleed, I'd love to give you the stage.
Thank you. And basically, I'm still trying to figure out the full ERC specs. I'm getting the gist of it, just still getting around the edges. It's a similar implementation to Safe, but with additional account abstraction specs on top, right? So what I'm thinking of is, like I said, the idea was to enable cross-chain NFT fractionalization to an extent, rather with what I see from ERC 6551, I'm seeing another possible implementation, which is allowing DAOs to be formed from NFT owners on the L1 chain, where they can use their NFT bound accounts, their TBAs on the L2 as their wallets on L2 DAOs. However, there's some complications regarding cross-chain interactions where it depends on which library or which framework you use, but just with the optimism ones, and it's already a 7-day finality thing. And when we move to any other framework, it's compatible with the other. If you like, this project was intended for optimism and OP superchains, but now if you want to do that, you need to add additional more code to support Zora or Base. So that makes layer 0 seem like a better option, but then layer 0 doesn't have full support for all the EVM chains. So I'm just trying to navigate the cross-chain world with regards to how to make this work.
That's an awesome. Thanks again, Waleed. I could talk about on a high level. I mean, obviously, Jaden would love to get into the details, but we've been conducting a lot of L2 cross-chain research. We've been going. I mean, Jaden specifically has been going down this rabbit hole of. Obviously, have already chatted with Layer 0. And actually, we're teaming up with Polygon to construct a native bridge specifically for Tokenbound accounts. And this was for the purposes of lens profiles that are currently on Polygon. Yeah, I think on a high level, like this idea that a mainnet NFT with a Tokenbound account being able to commit and sign and execute transactions on an EVM compatible chain. This is something that we're pushing towards. The standard does not specify it because it's a very implementation focused thing rather than like a standard for yeah. So it's just cross-chain isn't really specified in that regard. We're always happy to talk more about it. And we're evaluating a lot of different options, including something that's fairly new that kind of it's a variation of state proofs, which you know, for us it would kind of like take away the need of a bridge. So yeah, I won't take up because it will probably be more than the remaining time if we want to drill down into it. So I think what we should do is like we can have a deeper chat with you about like what you're trying to do across chain. But it is something from since day one when we wrote the standard that this cross-chain feature has always been accounted for, and it's something that we know will increasingly be more important. You know, we can imagine a future that there could be tens of thousands of OP stack chains, you know, using services like Conduit or Caldera, and in that reality, things do get a little bit crazy, but we're already anticipating like a lot of layer 2s. Now, if it's outside of the EVM, you know, EVM space, that you know is still mainly a big question mark of whether it'd be supported. But if it's EVM, it should be pretty straightforward. So I'll follow up with you, Waleed, or we can continue chats in the Telegram. But yeah, cross chain is really important for the standard and the NFT ecosystem.
I'm glad to hear that. And EVM is actually like pretty enough, since like with OP and Arbitrum, you already have what 6 cross-chain interactions and so many problems that we'd like to solve, because with the OP stack you already can't cross-chain communicate natively. You need add-ons to do that. So there's a lot of work just to do for the EVM. I'm all for that.
Exactly. Yeah, we believe that too. Cool. Well, thanks, Waleed. We'll keep you posted. I'm gonna go to Paul.
Cool, yeah, thanks, Benny. I was hoping to share some slides, if that's okay.
Yeah, let me give you the admin here.
Cool, yeah. But just really briefly, I wanted um, to amplify the funding pool that Radar and us are doing
Yes.
and talk a little bit about it. Sorry, give me a few seconds. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Cool, yeah. But I guess I want to start, Penny, with the tweet that you shared yesterday. I think it gives a very, very good overview of how I also see AI playing a role in 6551, wherein AI is the brain, NFTs are the body, the representation, the social identity, then autonomous worlds. So if people here want to see all of the big brain discussions around games and on-chain gaming, the autonomous world folks are kind of the ones leading that way. And with that in mind, we do have the realization that things are going to change around games. A brief background on us, OP Games, we have a platform called Arcadia, and we are starting to realize that some of the current game designs are maybe broken. They need to evolve a bit because of these new players that are coming around. And our hope with Radar and exploring these new alternative futures is we want people to explore the space as much as they can. We want to work with people here and also grow the space of 6551 and AI so we can make new games that are exploring these technologies. I'll share the link. I think I shared it before, and people can just dive deeper on the brief. I think it does a really, really good job of how we should think about 6551. My mental model here actually is similar to I think Aza Raskin, one of the people thinking about AI, says that AI is like it's like modern optics or the advancement of optics, wherein people realize that there are new fields because of these new optics, and AI just throws the field wide open in terms of game design. Um, yeah, so it's about how do we merge crypto, NPCs, and AI, and why people play. I think that's the most important takeaway that I have had from the radar reports is we need to be looking at why people play to kind of create new products that people will resonate with, like CryptoKitties. I think is a good example of that. And all of this is leading up to what Benny is doing with NPC Day. Our hope is people start exploring these ideas, maybe talk about them during NPC Day, and if anyone is attending ETH Global, to do some hacks around that. So really quickly, the future of gaming is already NPCs. Benny talked a little bit about that. We see that happening in some of the technologies that are being built around games. You see Unreal doing it, NVIDIA doing it as well. And I think what's important here for us in the 6551 Tokenbound working group is AI plus 6551 uh, will allow them to have autonomous agency. And one thing that's also interesting is that this NPC, I guess, meme isn't just on the Web3 space, but also across other media. Like you see it happening in TikTok, you see it happening in just all these other spaces that we're part of. So the big question for us is what new tools, products, and services and ideas we will need for when AI NPCs can have on-chain bank accounts, which 6551 has done. And for the funding pool specifically for Radar, what we want is people to think of this, to think through it through this specific lens, which is how do we build a better world with the new players in this game of life? Because what we've come to understand, um, talking with Radar, is that play isn't just in video games, right? It's kind of bleeding into the world with the NPC trend and all of this AI stuff that's happening. So yeah, so I'll share this on the slides. I won't go through them really quickly, but Fancy has broken down four what ifs, four categories to explore this in relationships, the economy, of course, gaming, and then identity. So the questions are: what if NPCs could help us build better relationships and connections in life? What if we designed our economy for different states of being? what if NPCs represented the next evolution of online identity? And something that I'm more focused on is what if NPCs could help us tell better stories in game? And my hope is that with Web3 games in particular, it's a space where we can explore what kind of experiments we can do to improve governance, improve the human condition, and just some dreams that I listed down on what kind of games we would hope to see when people are thinking about these briefs. And yeah, and I would love to give Fancy some space also, Benny, to just talk about the funding pool, if people had any ideas around or any questions around that.
I'll just do 1 minute very quickly. Yeah, like, we think that the most powerful way to meme this technology, this concept into reality is through creating, consumer products, consumer services, consumer places to hang out. And so we've built a platform called Radar Launch. I've dropped it in the chat. If you're building something that you believe is innovative, if it answers this brief here, you can submit your project to the platform, whether it's early stages, whether it's a hack, whether it's, fully formed. And then the public can see that and be part of it, join your journey, support you maybe with funding, sign up to be a first user. And through this process, we want to bring more and more people on that journey. And so, yeah, if you want to respond to this brief and you're cooking up something that is interesting here, I'd love to chat to you. I'd love to help you on board onto the platform. And then, the opportunity to get some of that grant money to continue building and make that journey happen. Because the more people we get thinking about this, the closer all of our visions for 6551s will become closer to reality. So anyway, I'll shut up now, but reach out to me. I'm in the Tokenbound chat and happy to answer any questions. Thanks, Paul.
Cool, yeah. And that's it. So hopefully I give some space for the next people. Thank you, Benny.
Yes. This thing, I chatted with, I've been working with this with Fancy and Paul and really appreciate the work they put into it. It really gives me like goosebumps of like how crazy this is. Like part of it is like, is this even a reality? Is it like, are we just dreaming here? And then the other half is like, actually all the pieces are there. Like NFTs are there, 6551's here now, like AI models, OpenAI API. Like if you look at Baby AGI or Auto GPT, like that stuff's there, right? Like I think there was a hackathon 2.5 weeks ago in San Francisco, and it was like an AI hackathon. People were building agents to do things for them. And so like this reality is here. The communities are kind of separated. That's what we're trying to do with NPC Day, is to like bring the two communities together. Of course, this is going to be the first event. It's in New York, September 20th. So we're, it's going to be the first, event of many. But this narrative of NPC is really a fascinating one, and I think it serves to change like how we think about a lot of things. Okay, so we got 2 more minutes. Apologies, Steve. I know you had your hand up. Your patience is really appreciated. So, Steve, I'll give you the mic.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, actually, I wanted to do a really quick demo. It'll really only take 2 minutes. It's really simple.
Yes, and it's okay. We go over as well. I'll give you the co-host. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. So just for context, my name's Steve. I'm with Pinata. I'm the head of developer relations, and we've been super excited about everything happening with ERC 6551 and playing around with it a bit ourselves. And yeah, Pinata Cloud, you got it. And last week, I think you guys released in the SDK the ability to get the NFT that's attached to a Tokenbound account. And that kind of inspired us to look into how we can, examine and see how stuff is linked together in Tokenbound accounts and NFTs. So we built a really simple, kind of proof of concept app that basically takes a Gorley Tokenbound account address, and it'll actually graph out and show all the different accounts and stuff that's linked to it. So we have the TBA here, has a balance of 0.3 ETH, and then it also shows different NFTs that are owned by the TBA, as well as any kind of ERC20 tokens, and then of course the wallet up here. It's not super fledged out, so like it doesn't do mainnet. It only does the TBA count. Ideally, I'd love to have it take any address, and then we'll filter it and then expand, and then we could also find out what other NFTs are owned by this wallet, and just kind of branch out and create a huge graph. But we thought this concept was super interesting and pretty exciting, because with the way TBAs work and NFTs and blockchain is like, you can have like this infinite graph of data that can apply to so many different types of industries, you know, from advertising to purchases to anything. So anyway, that's just a look at it. It's tokengraph.cloud. If you want to check it out, it's publicly available. Just make sure you only enter in a Gorley TBA address, otherwise it won't work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for letting me share, and you know, excited to see what everybody's building.
This
So
is sick.
awesome.
I'm definitely gonna play this.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. Thanks for that, Steve. And I sent a link in the chat. We had a I think this visualization thing is so important. Like I always said since day one, TBA's challenge is not really a technical one. It's like an education and a UX challenge, right? People got to know that their NFT already has a Tokenbound account. Number two is they need to be able to interact with it and see it and visualize it. And we had like I think in February, we launched like this demo that I shared the link of. And it's kind of like, it was an early iteration, but this version is way better. And we'd love to play around with it. So that's super cool. Cool. I think we have one last hand. Audrey, do you want to go? And yeah, if you want to demo, I could also give you co-host as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick demo of something that we've been working on with kiosks. Yeah, so basically one of the things, I'm Audrey, I'm CTO at Spartan Labs, and I'm working with the kiosk team, which is currently like a discovery platform for token-bound accounts. And one of the things, like we have this thesis similar to what's been discussed like with NPCs, is that we believe that token-bound accounts can make PFPs almost like, or can make NFTs like applications or extensions where they can do automated stuff. And so we're building a few proof of concepts that kind of illustrate this thesis that we have. The first one that we have created is like a DCA. It's a dollar cost average bot, similar to like Telegram bots that you have. But one benefit is that using the TBA, you don't have to like share your private keys, and you always have control over your NFT. So I just wanted to kind of do a quick demo of like how it works. You guys can see my screen? Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yep.
So yeah, so basically this is the Beat bot, and we'll be launching it to Polygon in a couple of weeks. But basically, when you mint an NFT, it creates a token-bound account for you. And then if you like, I'll just do one. I won't go through claiming one, but when you claim one, it creates the token-bound account. And then we've created a custom implementation that also has a function that allows a bot wallet address to initiate a Uniswap transaction. So this Uniswap transaction takes USDC that you deposit into your token-bound account, and then on a regular basis, you can decide the frequency, if it's like every day, every 2 days. And we have an automated asynchronous task on an AWS microservice that is basically checking to see if it's time to do the transaction, and it calls the bot wallet to initiate the transaction and then swaps USDC for WETH. So like, for example, I will do one, test and see if we can get it to work. So I'm going to call it just like by myself, but normally it would be called based on the schedule, and you can put in the amount that you want. And then if you go to this token-bound account, let's see if this is the correct one. Yeah. Then it should show a Uniswap transaction that was initiated. And if you go back to this, then you should see that the amounts have changed. So, and then every day based on this frequency, the USDC will be swapped for WETH. And then on your Tokenbound account using iframe, you'll be able to see this information as well. So this is just kind of the first POC, but we plan on like launching more examples of this automation where you're able to kind of set settings, and then transactions can be done, or via AI or via copy trading. And we see this implementation of apps or extensions working for DeFi, gaming, etc. So that's just a little demo. And if you guys are interested to learn more about the custom implementation or the automation, you can definitely reach out to me or anybody on the Spartan or Kiosk team.
Wow. You're bringing NPCs to life here. At least like it's always going to be like these little toy experiments that become huge through time. And so I think this is really cool that it like automatically swaps. Even if it's a simple on-chain action, it's like it's the beginning of something huge. So awesome. So I think that just about wraps up this weekly dev call. A lot of amazing things shared today. We again always really appreciate everyone for showing up. Yeah, the team is active on Telegram, so this doesn't end here. If there's more things to share, definitely tweet about it. Tag ERC6551 on Twitter. Or even in the Telegram, and we'll happy to amplify it. And definitely, if you have really cool projects that fit in with the brief, the radar brief, definitely apply for it as well. So thank you everyone for your time. Apologies that we went about 6-7 minutes over, but we'll see you on the flip side. We'll see you next week on Thursday. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks
See
all.
ya.
Bye.
Bye, all. Thanks.